Check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Alright, so I ain't gonna hold you too this long in this video. This video is gonna be about mindfulness. So I'm gonna read this exercise on mindfulness meditation. Here's the book I'm reading from. I try to always give out the material if I'm reading from some material. I try to give it out all the time. But never fails. It's always somebody that still asks me, what's the name of the book? Like, bruh. Anyway, mindfulness meditation. I'm going to read this and then I'll chime in at the end of it and we'll wrap it up. So, mindfulness meditation. In this practice, you will learn to remove the observation of the breath and sit in non-judgmental awareness. Non-judgmental awareness. To start, sit comfortably so you can be alert and aware of your body and surroundings. Observe your thoughts without being sucked into them and without judging them. Try not to relive the past, control the present, or predict the future. Instead, just be present and watch your thoughts without judgments as to whether they are good or bad. If you find yourself judging any thoughts or being sucked into their current, then observe that. Each time you find yourself being pulled into thoughts of what you must do, what someone said to you, and so on, notice that and go back into non-judgmental awareness. It is quite difficult. You will be pulled into your wandering mind, but that's fine. In fact, it's expected. The more you do this practice, the better you will get at it. When you spend some time simply in non-judgmental awareness, you will see that you are not your thoughts. When you spend some time simply in non-judgmental awareness, you will see that you are not your thoughts. Thoughts are just things that happen. Your thoughts arise, dance around, and then fade away. Most of the mental wordplay we have is simply a narration of our lives. You might find the thought, wow, this is hard, come up, for instance. In time, you will see your patterns of thought, where you get stuck, and what comes up over and over. You may start to see your own social programming and recursive thoughts that continually pop up. You will also be able to act on your thoughts and feelings rather than react to them. As always, start slow. Work up to 20 minutes as a goal, though many people meditate for much longer, and that's okay if you do too. The ability to watch your thoughts will become very useful when scrying. In order to receive wisdom of the universe, you will need some ability in this area. So that is a very, very useful practice. So for me, where I find this most useful at, and when I struggle with this the most, would be whenever crossing over. Alright. So whenever going through that trance state or whatever, for me it's typically mind awake, body asleep. That's the gateway directly to the other side. A lot of people still can't. They have like difficulty breaking through, even though they're trying. So I hear that lots of people, like, and they get in that state, right, to where it be like they mind awake, body asleep, and still be talking about they can't seem to break through or whatnot, right? And I've said it before, the trick to it is not even so much of trying to apply some out of body techniques, like imagine yourself climbing a rope, or I mean there's many techniques, not to say that there's not a place. I mean, I've used techniques before, but the technique that is best, that I found best beyond any, and that is to be simply mindful, to just become the observer. Whenever you hear noise, like especially like when people dealing with sleep paralysis, your mind awake, body is asleep, and then you start to hear noise and chatter, and you think somebody just broke in the house and coming in to rob you or kill you, or you hear a dog that's growling in your ear, or some old shit, right? Because you get to hallucinating it. And it's all just noise, but the thing is, you get caught up in the drama of your thoughts and shit, and then you stay like trapped in that state of consciousness. But if you just find that middle point to where you can just be mindful but not cast judgment on whether this is good or evil, or if this is going to hurt you or not, or whatever, right? If you could just find that neutral place. And like oftentimes I have to remind myself, like, I'm just the observer. And then, go back to just not casting any judgment, just being aware. And it's not easy. And I find it most difficult, it's even more difficult, at least for me, than when you actually break through. Because then when you actually break through, you'll hear from a lot of people that be having that have lucid dreams and shit. The reason a lot of people can't stay there for long in that state of consciousness is because they get excited and start thinking and start thinking too much. As soon as you start thinking too much, then you waking up and you want to wake yourself out of it. Like same thing if you channeling or something. If you trying to channel some information or wisdom or something from a deity, like you still got to be, it's that certain frame of mind, right, that you got to be open but still alert. It's like you got to be nonchalant enough to be able to receive whatever's coming up to you, whatever pop up, but still got to be alert enough to be able to pull it back from whenever you come back fully into this physical world, right? And that's where I would struggle the most with holding on to just that mindfulness and that non-judgmental thing, is that whenever you do break through, then all the shit that you start seeing over there that's looking amazing or that's scaring you or whatever, then it's even harder. It's even harder for you not to get caught up in the drama, right? It took me years to learn this, and I learned it from, I can't even remember who else. It's one of them books. And the dude, he said, whenever you break through or whatever, he's like, don't go on no mental journey, right? Because that's always the first thing I would do, right? I see this door open, I want to go over there. I see this person or figure or whatever that I want to talk to, and I want to have a conversation with this spirit and all of this shit. But old boy was like, no, there's a time and place for that. But for the most part, after you break through, You need to keep doing what the fuck it is you've been doing to get to that point. And then I was like, ah, shit, well, that makes sense. Like, I'm doing one thing to get there, and as soon as I get there, then I'm switching up. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, my conscious mind just takes control, and I want to be curious about this and that and all of this. And I just abandoned the total practice that actually got me to that point, and trying to find something new to get me to the next point. With dude was like, it made all the sense for me. He was like, no, you need to keep doing what the fuck it is you're doing. A spirit actually told me that as well one time when I was crossed over and I was talking to her, and she was like, or I was like, I said, like, how do I get back? How do I get back in touch with you? Something to that effect. And she said, keep doing what you're doing. And I said, well, what is it that I'm doing? And then she said, whatever the fuck you're doing. And I'm like, all right. So anyway, that's all I got for this one. But that's a dope ass motherfucking exercise that whatever you into, that exercise is going to add benefit to it for sure. I'm out.